Welcome back to October Reads, and today I figured we covered Marvel Zombies yesterday, so today let's go ahead and just get DCeased out of the way. So DCeased, Tom Taylor written, Trevor Hairsine on the art, and I gotta say, this book just was not as fun as Marvel Zombies. It is what it is, but it definitely is good in its own way. And I think it was surprisingly good in its own way, basically. Like, if you remember the 2000s where zombies were all the horror thing, people love their zombies and everything, especially since after the Dawn of the Dead remake, obviously the Walking Dead comic, even the Marvel Zombies comic, I think had a little bit to do with that. And then the early 2010s where the TV show Walking Dead kicked off, and the rest is history from there. Enter 2019, everyone's kind of over zombies, but that's where DC finally gave us their answer, I guess, to Marvel Zombies and DCeased. Obviously, like I said, they're not having as much fun as Robert Kirkman had over with Marvel Zombies. However, Tom Taylor is writing there, and it's pretty solid. Like, he actually, in my opinion, establishes a pretty good, like, extra parallel universe for DC, which they seem to have plenty of those right now. But hey, what's one more, right? So basically, DCeased starts off with the Justice League fighting Darkseid. Apocalypse has invaded this version of DC Earth. They fought him for a week with minimal human casualties, and they basically command Darkseid just to leave Earth and go to Apocalypse. And Apocalypse, yeah, they're obviously bad news. So Darkseid, his last words are, "I have everything I need, Earth is nothing to me," and he just leaves. So obviously the Justice League's like, wow, that didn't go as successfully as we thought. And that's when Batman realizes Cyborg is no longer on Earth at all. He cannot find Cyborg. The Justice League has a moment where they're mad at Batman because it turns out he's tracking members. We all know how that goes from other stories. And we cut to Apocalypse, but the one weird thing is when we cut to Apocalypse, the art changes. This is only the first issue. Once again, why are they changing artists? Why, though? Why? When the art isn't that great. So the art for the Apocalypse part of this book is done by James Herron, and I'm sorry, I'm just not a fan of his art style in this. It definitely throws everything off for me while reading this. But let's just get back to the story part of what's going on in Apocalypse. So they have seized Cyborg, and they're torturing him and all that stuff. And basically what Darkseid wants to do, long story short, he's going to put the anti-life equation into Cyborg, basically. So the thing that Darkseid has always wanted to do is just steal the anti-life equation. What is the anti-life equation? Who really knows? It's been used differently in many DC stories. Basically what happens in this one, they more or less use the Black Racer to instill the anti-life equation into Cyborg, and somehow this instantly turns Darkseid into a zombie, and he destroys Apocalypse. But before that, Desaad the Torturer, the guy who was torturing Cyborg, thinks, well, Cyborg is the problem, obviously, and he teleports him off Apocalypse before it blows up, and he lands on Earth. And when that happens, he gets into the Wi-Fi of Earth and sends the anti-life equation to every phone, television, computer, and device on Earth, causing millions to be instantly infected in a zombie-like state. So obviously this is not good. Superman, luckily he gets to his family in time, and Damian Wayne just happens to be there hanging out with John Kent. So he destroys all the devices in their little condo. So that works out kind of well for Superman. Batman, however, has a terrible day. He doesn't get the Wi-Fi blocked in time, and Dick Grayson and Tim Drake were just hanging out, playing with their cell phones instead of fighting crime. And they get turned into zombies instantly, so when Batman goes and checks on Alfred, he gets in a fight with their former Robins, and he gets bit and destroyed, basically. So I did enjoy the twist at the end of this. So I'm just going to go ahead and give this book a 4 out of 5. I don't like the art too much in DCeased. However, I do respect Tom Taylor's story and the ongoing story he tells later on with these characters and some of the risks he takes too. Like I said, the whole thing with Batman and that twist at the end, basically taking out most of the Batman family. That's not something a lot of writers would do post 2000s DC, obviously. So the fact that, you know, he has the ability to take out Batman, the stuff he does later on with pretty much most of your Trinity characters, like by the time you get to the next part, a lot of those main A-listers are already gone, and he's building his own cast and crew of characters. So I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5, but a lot of that has to do with more of the DCeased I've read down the line. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this review, and thank you guys once again for checking out October Reads.